Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. Today I will be reacting to and analyzing Lady Gaga performing the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem for the United States of America, at Joe Biden's inauguration. I love that Lady Gaga is just this vocal chameleon. She can do kind of whatever she wants with her voice, and she isn't afraid to. Like, she'll sing things so contemporary pop, and then she'll sing something quite a bit more traditional like this, and I'm sure she's gonna fluff it up as she goes, that she's gonna like start adding ornamentations and making it her own version. But I really like this song when it's done super straightforward, when it's a traditional, easy to sing along kind of style. I think that that's what I like about this song. It's such a hard song to sing, and as soon as you start making it kind of funky, to me that kind of just makes it harder for people to sing along with. But that said, like, there's kind of a responsibility to make it your own at the same time, and so it's a really tricky piece to perform, to find the right sort of balance between tradition and performance and letting people sing along at home and doing all of these things. There's a lot kind of going on, but I love her bird, and I think that's the most important thing so far, is the fact that she's got this dope bird, and it's a dove, right? Peace. Let's go for peace. She's doing a lot of stuff that's going to set her up well for the end of the song, for where it starts getting really complicated. When she went to proudly, she didn't over-brighten. She went to oh so proud, more of that kind of vowel. If she started already going toward what's so proud, there's a little tendency that it becomes way too bright, that the top doesn't really work anymore. But how she did that on proudly and hailed, she went a little bit toward an E. We hailed instead of we hailed. Those little changes at the beginning of this song make it so much easier to keep going.
At the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars.
Same beautiful vowel. That's my pet peeve with the song, is people will always pronounce the word perilous in weird, interesting ways. Watch a million different people sing this song and you will hear a million different ways of pronouncing perilous. So at this point, I kind of have to just not care, because it doesn't mean very much. It doesn't really affect how she's singing the song. It's just, to me, that's not how I am familiar with the word. It's done all the time, like pronouncing it in slightly off ways. Watch out for it though, because like some people are listening for that specific thing. Me. It's just me. If you want to impress me, sing that word like you would speak it. Ramparts.
Were so gallantly streaming.
Yeah, so up till now, she's done everything quite straightforward, quite traditional. She hasn't done very many ornamentations. The only sort of character that we're getting from her voice that's like different from that normal stuff is she's playing with diphthongs quite a bit. She's going to the second vowel of a diphthong quite often, rather than just spending time on that first vowel, which just gives it a little bit more of a poppy kind of musical theater quality. It sounds to me like she put on her musical theater cap before she started singing this first half of the song. And we know that she's capable of singing the music theater. I mean, like when she went on, I think it was the Oscars a few years ago. It was one of those shows, and she sang the Sound of Music. To me, she's using much more similar vowels to how she sang that performance compared to how she was singing Shallow and things like that. And it is a significant vowel change, and that's the main thing that is driving the stylistic change. She is pulling back her tongue just a little bit. I don't love that. A lot of people do that because in their head it feels like we're creating this very open resonating chamber, but it's actually the opposite, where if we pull the tongue back like this and it feels really open to us, it's called a false kinesthesia. So there's this vocal pedagogue, Kenneth Bozeman, who wrote a book about vocal acoustics, and one of the chapters that he has talks about this false kinesthesia. When they say open up the throat, open up the backspace, we inherently will go into this kind of coordination where the tongue is pulling back, and that actually occupies all of the space in the throat, where actually to create a truly open space, we need to get the tongue out of the way. So going into more of an E vowel really helps find that. And you can do that as an experiment on yourself, where if you create a vowel that's like what Gaga did right there, I know I'm exaggerating it. She's still fine. She's well within the realms of fine. She's totally fine. But when you go into the place and blow air over it back and forth really quickly, like, you'll feel part of your vocal tract cool down. Wherever it cools down is where it's the most narrow. So if you then go to an E vowel and go, you'll likely feel that cool a little bit more forward. That shows that the narrowness has gone forward. It's no longer in the throat, and you now have that open throat. So to me, it sounds like she's going well down that more legit musical theater kind of classical lane, where she's not trying to make it sound like a contemporary pop song mix as she's going up to this top note. It still sounds connected to me, but there's some funky stuff going on with the vowel that I think that she could make it a little bit of a smoother tone as she goes up, where right now there is a slight tonal difference that's like, yup, that sounds more like head voice rather than the rest of her voice. And it's not that there's anything wrong with head voice or chest voice, it's just that we want to get them both sounding as similar as possible. Yeah, and I hear just a little bit of wobble in that sound, and I think that's because she doesn't have as much of the full body of the vocal cords coming together when she's going up to that note, which again leads back to her performing it in more of that legit, traditional kind of way, which I respect, honestly. Like, I was expecting this to go a totally different way, and she didn't do it. Some people think of this way, the way that she's performing it, as feeling a little safer, and maybe if you're performing where emotions are extraordinarily high, then doing something that you trust like that is the right option. She's capable of doing it in a bunch of different ways. I'm not sure why she chose this. It's not like the earliest performance, but it is still an earlier performance. It is an outdoor performance in DC in the middle of winter, which is so frigid and hard to sing in. It just wrecks you. And so like doing all of these little things might just make her feel a little bit more confident going up with it, where I can sit over here in my air conditioned and warmed house and be like, you could actually do this a little bit different, but like there's a lot more pressure going on right there, and she's still pulling it off extremely well. Yeah, so it's a little bit fun with the pitches. There is no tuning on her microphone at all. The way she went up to that top note, it just kind of released. That's, I think, closer to the place I would like her to be singing this middle part, is in preparation to go up to a note that sounds like what she did right there. So I don't know if maybe she was feeling just a little bit funky in that area, and going into that higher sigh, even if it wasn't like perfectly on a pitch in the key, just kind of helped her find what that feels like again. Because I think that everyone should have a few little tricks where if you're feeling a little bit funky, like you can just use that trick to find what singing's supposed to feel like again, and then you can continue going with it. That said, like, it just was a little bit funky. It's so cold. Singing outside in the cold like this, I think, is extraordinarily hard. I can say all of these things about all of this. That's probably the most important factor right now, honestly. It's really difficult. Awesome. So just on that very last line, she went into that more belty coordination rather than the more legit coordination that she used for the rest of the performance, where I would rather have them kind of mixed together from the very beginning so that there's less of that change. And it's not just a volume thing. However, when we're learning this stuff, a lot of times it's easier to find by using volume. If you just get a little louder, it's likely going to create a little bit more vocal cord closure. And then once you get used to that, you can back off on it. So I do hear just a little bit of that difference from the end compared to the rest of it, but like, it doesn't matter. I think that she did it really well. I said at the beginning that I thought she was going to go off and do some like pop ornamentation and stuff. I love how she did it. I think that that's the way to sing this song, but it's also like the hardest song to sing. It's hard to sing because like there's no repeating lyric, and that just makes it harder to get in your head. The way that the melody is written is just really unintuitive as a singer. There's all of the pressure aspect of it, of singing this at an inauguration. There's and knowing that like 1 billion people are watching you. That's a huge thing with it. There's the physical aspect of breathing in really cold and humid air, and it just like freezes on you, and it wrecks things. It makes things feel bad. It's the physical aspect of feeling cold, even if you're in like a really good coat. Like all of those things make this one of the most difficult performances that I bet she's had to do. And I think she still did it great. Like she simplified it, and I think because she simplified it, it worked really, really well. And any of the things that I might be able to say, like, hey, let's try doing this a little bit different if she was in a lesson with me, like, they don't matter at the end of the day, because she got through it. She was on key for like 99% of the time. There was just that one little bit where there was a little bit off at the end. She got all the words. She performed it really well. Everyone's thrilled. So like, congratulations. She sang really well on a very difficult performance. Thank you for watching. Please go be nice to a person that you know. Just go send them a text and say, hey, I like you, or something else that's really nice to them, because I think it's good to be nice to people. And also subscribe or leave a comment. Thanks.